All right, let's go ahead and get started. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us on this webinar today. We're happy to have you. We're here to talk about 3 steps that you can take right now to increase your holiday sales using excess inventory. So with Small Business Saturday and Black Friday right around the corner, in addition to the entire month of December, there are many opportunities for you to leverage the increased customer demand this time of year to not only sell through your overstock inventory, but then also use that overstock product to attract customers into your store and make purchases they might not have made otherwise. I'm Josh Cunningham. I'm the Relationship Manager here at BoxFox, and I'm with Michael Slate, who's our Chief Technology Officer. Now, BoxFox, we work with independent retailers across the U.S., boutiques, sporting goods stores, and everything in between. And we want to provide you with some tips that you can take away to maximize your holiday sales and improve the financial health of your business. You may see a chat bar on the page that you can use to send any questions or comments to us. We'll be moderating that throughout this entire webinar, and we'll get back with you immediately, and we'll keep a dialogue going with you. First of all, here's a couple quick facts. Over 50% of small retail businesses feel that their potential for business growth next year is dependent on a successful holiday season. But independent retailers have a combined $10 billion in excess inventory that simply goes unsold year after year. So yes, the holidays represent a great opportunity, but retailers are still stuck with $10 billion of excess inventory that simply isn't getting sold every year. And the point of this webinar is to help you distance yourself from that statistic. Today's plan is, like we said, help you sell through overstock product, but then more importantly, drive additional sales this holiday season and convert new customers that can hopefully become loyal shoppers at your business. There are 3 main things that we're going to cover. One is identifying your clearance inventory, taking a holistic look at all the products that you have and getting a feel for how long they've been there. Maybe you have products 1, 2, 3 years that have been on your shelves, and specifically selecting those items and coming up with a discount strategy to help them move out the door. 2, creating a holiday sales strategy. Once you've identified items to discount, then craft a holiday sales strategy around that can help you move those items effectively. And 3, once you've put all this effort into identifying products and wrapping a sales strategy around it, make sure that you give a lot of thought to optimizing your store layout. Making sure that you are laying out your store in a way that's attractive to customers, encourages them to wander around your store, and to hopefully purchase as much merchandise as possible. Now, every store is different when it comes to discounting. Their bread and butter is catering to the bargain shopper, while others do very little discounting, if at all, and then other stores everywhere in between. But discounting can definitely be an advantageous thing for your business in certain criteria. First of all, driving more demand toward your slower sellers. Let's say you have a shoe that's been on your shelf for 2 years, and maybe you've discounted it 20% or 30%. But if it hasn't been moving, then it might make sense to bump up your discount to 40, 50% off to try to catch a customer's attention and to move that product out the door. Discounting products also is going to enable you to offload your overstock inventory to holiday bargain hunters that are coming into your store this time of year. If you have a particular item that you're willing to take a margin cut on, use that to satisfy the bargain shopper that's coming in looking for a deal. And then also get customers into the store. Get them walking through your doors, getting a feel for the vibe of your store, meeting your employees, hopefully getting a really good taste of what it's like to do business with you, and end up coming out purchasing more products than just that discount item. One thing that's really important to keep in mind when it comes to discounting is that every item has a carrying cost, particularly an opportunity cost. That item that's been in your store, in your back room for a couple years, you've already paid for it. You've already tied your cash up in it, and now you're waiting for a customer to pay you back. So in the amount of time that you're waiting for someone to pay you back, which might be months, you can discount it sell it hopefully quicker, and then use that money to put it towards products that are selling faster for you, that you know you can get more of a return on it. So by discounting, you can reduce that opportunity cost and get your money in the right items and get out of the ones that aren't selling as well for you. Now moving into the three-step process, firstly is identifying your discount product and the product that you want to attach discounts to. Here are some items to specifically look for, items you won't be reordering. So maybe you've stocked this product for a couple years, but you've decided not to sell it anymore. Its days in your store are already numbered, so it makes sense to accelerate the turn of that product and move it out the door by discounting it. Broken size runs are another thing. Maybe you started out with a full size run, but as items get picked and chosen from that, once you have a few remaining stragglers, it's probably going to take you longer to sell through those items, so discount it to help draw greater customer attention to it. Products greater than 1 year old. Every industry is different, but if models are churning out on a yearly basis, it makes a lot of sense to start discounting those items that have been on your shelf for over a year and are outdated, and just help them move out the door. Items you overbought. Maybe you over-anticipated the demand for a particular item and you're stuck with these remaining items. Go ahead and discount those to draw customers' attention to it and help you move out of those items. Seasonal products. Maybe there's an item that's in the fall, and now that we're moving into the winter months, it's really not going to sell. Do you really want to wait until next fall to sell that product? It might make sense to discount that item and move it out the door more quickly. And then another thing to think about is, what are those products that are soon to be outdated? Maybe there's a new model that's going to be coming in 1, 2, 3 months. Think ahead about how you might want to discount that outdated item so that you can grease the skids for that new product coming in. And then whenever you're identifying all these products, take notes of the items that fit these criteria. Make sure that you earmark them so that you can know the items that you really need to focus placing these discounts on. Getting a little bit more technical, go by department or category and calculate your inventory efficiency. And one of the most important things to be thinking about there is your inventory turnover. Compare your cost of goods sold to your average inventory at cost. And then, whatever that inventory turnover number is, calculate your days on hand. Take 365 divided by that inventory turnover. Let's say that your inventory turn is a 4. Then your days on hand is going to be roughly 90 days. And it's important to attach some context to that. What is your overall industry average? Is a turn of a 2 good? Is a turn of a 6, 8? It all depends on that benchmark. But use the inventory turnover ratios on different departments and categories to help you get a feel for how efficiently you're moving products, and ones that are lacking behind, ones that are lagging for you, then you might want to pay more attention to discounting those and moving those out the door. And then it's important to apply those numbers. So for 1 turn's worth, let's say 90 days, what do you project your sales to be for that category at retail? And then take that projected number and compare it to the amount you have on hand at retail. You may have $10,000 at retail of a particular category. And then you have your $10,000 of projected sales. But then you have $20,000 on hand for that particular item at retail. So that's double what you have on hand versus what you think you're going to sell in this next turn. And it's a good way to help you get a sense for what you might have excess product in by comparing the amount you have on hand to what you think you're going to sell during that next turn. Now that you've identified particular items to discount and marked them, you need to make sure you come up with a holiday sales strategy. And there's multiple components of that. One of them being, consider your current cash position. Think about payments, orders that you need to be paying for here soon. But then not only that, but also upcoming orders. Maybe you're going to be making a slew of spring orders. What is that cash going to be looking like that you're going to be paying out? And it can help you get a feel for where do you stand from a cash flow perspective right now, and what kind of numbers might you need to be bringing in to make sure that you can be paying those bills a couple months down the road. It's hugely important to know the market pricing. 82% of people say they plan to first research an item online before they walk into a store, which means that customers now are more armed than ever with the knowledge about what pricing they can get other places. And it's really important for you to be aware of that so you can make sure that your pricing is comparable. You don't exactly have to match that, but at least make sure that your pricing is such that it's compelling for a customer to still come in and make that purchase through you. Be mindful of your timing. Think about how might a Black Friday shopper differ from one that comes in a few days before Christmas. Are they going to be looking for different kinds of merchandise? Are they going to be willing to spend different amounts? You may want to focus more on your higher priced, bigger items for the Black Friday sales, but as you move closer and closer to Christmas, discount your less expensive items or your stocking stuffers that can help you capitalize on those last minute shoppers. Through all of your sales, make sure that you create a sense of urgency. Offer those discounts for a limited period of time to help you capitalize on that customer that comes in, says they'll come in tomorrow or make a purchase later, and hopefully turn that into something that happens at your store right now. Discounting incrementally can be a great weapon for your business, and it's really important to make sure that you commit to that discounting strategy. You may start a particular item at 20 to 30%, but be willing to stair-step those discounts regularly, maybe at a weekly basis or every 2 weeks during the holiday season. Move it to 30, 50, 40, 50% off, whatever it needs to move out. Make sure that you commit to running those stair-step discounts and move that product out the door so that you can get cash to invest in new items. And then lastly, set milestones and goals for yourself. Know where you stand from a cash position and set some goals for the kinds of sales numbers that you might want to hit during these holidays. Just something to motivate you and your sales staff and hold you accountable to it. Now that you've given thought to focusing on particular items to discount and wrapping a sales strategy around it, make sure that you put all that hard work to good use by optimizing your store layout. And one of the most important things that you can do there is try to think like your customer. Put yourself in their shoes. You're in your store every day. You're seeing things day in and day out. And so it can be very easy to become familiar with your layout and really not even notice things anymore. But make sure that you really take the perspective of a new customer walking into your store for the first time. What parts of your store catch your eye? Does that jive with the items that you want, the parts of your store that you want to catch their eye? And then does your layout encourage customers to explore and to walk around your store and look for additional items? It's super important to analyze your walls and particular sections of your store. What areas tend to get more attention than others? What areas do you find customers walking through more than other areas? And you can put that to good use because slow sellers are not always the product's fault. Maybe they're just put in the wrong place of your store. Maybe if you move them to a different wall or a different display area, they get more traffic and would be more likely to move. So keep that in the back of your mind too, thinking about where can you move overstock product to make sure that you give it the best chance of moving out the store. And then also know your psychology. 90% of customers walk to the right when they first come into a store. So think about, what do you want them to see when they first come in? How do you want to make a good first impression? What's your decompression zone? What things do you want to encourage them to explore after they get through that initial area of your store? And then also keep your layout fresh. Recognize that customers might be coming into your store multiple times during the holiday season. So how can you tweak and vary your layout on a regular basis so that they're not just seeing the same thing over and over again? Here are a couple ways that you can move out of overstock products, a couple strategies that you can take that will not only help you sell that overstock item, but also connect it to a higher margin purchase. So experiment with the placement of your discount goods. You may have a discounted piece of apparel, but then next to it, would you be able to display a complementary accessory that's more full price, so that whenever the customer picks up this piece of apparel, what might they be looking for next, and how can you provide them with that product that they may turn around and add to their bag as well, that you know you're going to be getting a higher margin on. So at that point, you've been able to sell through the overstock item and then also create a new purchase. Product bundling is another good strategy here. You can put two products together, sell them as one for, let's say, an item that's been selling slower for you, an accessory. You could pair that up with a shoe that's a hot selling item. Sell them together with one at one price and hopefully move those two out the door. And it also enables you to not offer an explicit discount on that item. You're not having to offer 40, 50% off. You're taking a new strategy by bundling those products together. Also, make sure you optimize your checkout area. Encourage impulse buys from your customers whenever they're spending those last few minutes with you at the checkout area. And then throughout the entire holiday season, make sure you're promoting stocking stuffers. Those smaller items that they'll be able to easily put in their bag, take home, put in their stocking for Christmas time. So Small Business Saturday, as we mentioned, is right around the corner. And last year, 71% of U.S. consumers said they were aware of Small Business Saturday. Nearly half actively supported it by shopping at a local small business. The result was $5.7 billion in sales that day. It's a growing movement. More and more people are becoming aware of it, and it's definitely something that you can capitalize on to help boost your overall holiday sales. And with help with that, you can visit American Express's Shop Small site. They have a litany of marketing materials that you can use to help promote your store, place things in your windows that are Shop Small branded that can just increase brand recognition with your customers. And then also they have the ability to register your store so that you can be on the map of stores participating in the event. So even after doing your best to discount and move clearance merchandise out the store, it's still possible that you may have remaining items that just aren't able to sell for you. And that's where BoxFox can come in and be a help. We might be a good fit whenever you meet one of many different criteria. Maybe you've tried those stair-step markdowns, but you still have leftover items that haven't been able to sell. Or you're stuck with one-offs and broken size runs that you know are going to take a longer amount of time to move. Or you have outdated models of 2 to 3 years old and you need to get those out the door. Or you just need to get out of something regardless of the age and get cash back. We can help you move those products by the lot. BoxFox has appraisal tools that enable you to get a feel for the value of your merchandise on our marketplace. You can do that in one of two ways. We have a free iPhone app that enables you to go and scan your UPCs and appraise their worth on BoxFox, or you can upload an inventory file that includes your UPCs, titles, quantities. Upload that file to our site and we'll give you an appraisal for not only what each item is worth, but the entire lot as a whole. BoxFox is a B2B marketplace where buyers compete to place offers on your inventory. All lots are up for either a 3, 5, or 10 business day auction, and there's no obligation for you to accept the highest offer that comes in for your inventory. If you choose to accept an offer, there's a 5% commission, but if you list the inventory and don't accept an offer, it's free to use. The buyer pays into an escrow account before you ship, so we verify that we have received the buyer's money before you actually send the merchandise to them. And then buyers cover the shipping cost of any orders on BoxFox. Here's a quick recap of some of the things we talked about today. 1, use discounts to move old product. You can be savvy about stair-step markdowns and identifying specific products to be more aggressive about discounting, pricing them to move so that they can get out your doors and you can invest that cash in new product. 2, be intentional with your holiday sales strategy. Make sure that you have specific goals and approaches that you're taking, that you're keeping yourself on track during the weeks of the holiday season. And lastly, make sure you optimize your layout for holiday sales. Think about it from the perspective of your customer and make sure that you're encouraging them to wander around your store and look at the right areas to maximize your chances of selling through inventory this holiday season. Thanks for listening. Now we're going to open it up to any questions that you have, and we'll be free to respond to any questions or comments that you send us through the chat.